Well, hey everybody. Move things around here, get my other cards out. Well, I'm Jan Erickson from Stepping Aside, and welcome to another edition of Somewhat Daily Tarot and Rune for the 9th day of June 2020. Well, hopefully you guys watched the esoteric influences before you watched this, but because I'm only going to mention them as it applies to the cards that I draw and the runes that I draw and all that. So, but just know that we're in a 9 energy day. It's an energy of completion and ending. So something may feel like, it's shifting today, possibly. Maybe some new awareness has taken hold, and things are starting to maybe become clear. And I think, unfortunately, it just seems like it's a 9 energy every day, because you could say that about every single day, right? But I don't know. We'll see. But I hope everybody's doing well. My husband had to get a new phone. His was, I can't remember when we bought our iPhones. It was either 2015 or 2016. And I had to, my front glass was cracked. And so I had to get another one. And so I got a 10. I think it's a 10. Anyway, but he didn't want to get one, and so we didn't. Only a few days ago, his phone stopped ringing. I mean, it would vibrate, but I couldn't get it to ring, and he didn't do anything. I mean, typically he'd be like, "Oh God, what did you do?" Because one time he had the first time he had an iPod that wasn't the iPod Shuffle. He changed the language to Chinese, and I had to figure out how to undo that. He didn't know what he did, right? Because yes, my husband's a bit of a Luddite, although he's much better than he used to be. But anyway, we had to go get him another phone, and so he got the 12. He didn't want to, because my 10 is bigger. It's this big thing, and especially with the case that's on it, and it's just this massive phone. The 12 is smaller. It's like the 6. And so he immediately was attracted to that. So my husband got a better phone than I have now. Although, maybe it's pretty much the same. But still, it's smaller, and it's perfect for him. It's exactly the same size as the 6, I think. And he got his Otter case for it, which is his Panasonic Tough Book case for it, So it's this case for the guy that can't stop breaking things, right? So he's got that for it, and like he had on the other one, and so he's happy now. He can actually get a phone call and hear it come in. So we did that yesterday. But basically what we've got going today is just irrigation and more of the same, going around and making sure all the plants that got nipped by the frost, because we had a little bit of frost right after we put everything in. But nothing's dead, so that's good. That's because around here you just don't know. I mean, it could be July, and you could have frost, you could have high winds, you could have ground striking lightning. You could, I mean, really, it's the wrath of God here half the time in the summertime. So, anyway, let's go ahead and get started and take our first 3 cards and see what we have for today. Things are just getting. I'm going to move this back a little bit. Things are just getting really weird again, and a lot of lying, a lot of dissembling is going on out of the federal government, and let's see if we can get a little insight into what's going on there, because every time Barr opens his mouth, something else comes out, and I don't know. Everybody's throwing everybody else under the bus. The military guys are coming out from the past saying, "Oh, no, you can't act this way," and the things are coming apart quickly now, so we need to, maybe this will focus on that and not just, what goes on in our daily life. So anyhow, let's go ahead and get started and get my shawl where I'm it's not all in my way, and let's take our first 3 cards. And if you haven't been here before, welcome. I do take the 13th card each time for randomness sake. I was born on the 13th. It figures prominently in my life, so I just, whenever I have to be random, I always take the 13th of anything. So anyway, but that's just my thing. You don't have to do that. So we have the card of death. The 13th card of the major arcana. Yeah, we're going to start out interestingly today, aren't we? Let's shuffle a little bit here, though. Ooh, the Six of Cups, one of my favorite cards. Yeah, we've got some transformation going on today. Death is about transformation. It's about renewal. It's about regeneration and rejuvenation, and just, I mean, we're in a 22 years, so, you know, profound soul level change. It's getting a little hot in the still room right now. I can't wait till I have my candles on for too long, and my door is closed, so it's like it gets heated up. So let's do the last card. The Nine of Pentacles. So we have a 9 aligning with today. Yeah, I think that we've got something happening here, and we're going to go ahead and stop with these 3. If we need to, we'll talk about it, and then if we need to add a 4th or a 5th, we will. I don't know that we're going to need to, though. We're going to put the Death card in the center. We're going to make that the significator from which all else flows. It will be the influencer card, in other words. Because that's really what we're talking about when we're talking about a significator. It's kind of what's controlling the rest of the reading. In other words, we're going to do it from that focus. And so let's talk about Death. We see Death riding in on his white steed. White because it's denoting purity and rebirth. You see the white flower above. You see the pentagram contained within its petals. And you see the pentagram is definitely inverted, because it's dealing with not the devil, it's dealing with physical form and all of the energy that's going into rebirth here, because it is. You know, when we focus into these bodies, when the soul gets implanted in the body, basically the energy focuses in and fuses with the DNA, with all of it, okay? If it's in the pineal gland, I don't know. Hypothalamus, all in that area, it probably comes in there and then goes throughout the, essentially all of the nerves and everything. Everything gets infused with soul. And the soul is what is the energy that powers the body, essentially. Without it, without that interconnectedness, there would be no reason for the body. So no purpose, right? And so when we see this inverted pyramid, or inverted pentacle, or pentagram, I should say, what we're talking about there is that energy, that source energy, focusing into form, okay, at least in terms of this. It can also indicate our own focus is more on material aspects or ego. You'll see that in the Devil card. And really what that's talking about is being a slave to the ego or slave to desire, and you're not paying attention to the voice of spirit. You're ignoring the fact that you're a soul. You're just thinking you're having a good time, and you're off and running, basically. That's the difference. And so the goal here is to transmute ego back into spirit, but not because you go into ego and live it, but because you ignore it, raise your frequency, see through source vision, and then ego's like, remember me? Hi. Ooh, I'm here. It has to come to you then, instead of you wallowing in the mud with the ego. That's transmutation, at least how it's supposed to go. But anyway, little witchcraft 101. But anyway, here you have over in the side here, you see the familiar theme of two towers in tarot. You see that. You see the city in the background beyond the towers. So it's an entrance into a new day. We have a 9 energy today, which is endings and completion. We have a dawn of a new day there. The brilliant sun is rising up between them on this scene of death, where you've got the king is dead on the ground. You've got the little boy there, the queen. It's probably his son. It's probably not a small page, but it's probably his son. And the queen is bereft, and the priest is there, dispensing the last rites. If you look way over there, you see a red ship on the water over there. You see its red sail. But basically, this is a card of renewal, restructuring. 13 reduces to 4, and so you're talking a number of structure and foundation and material presence. And so basically, when you're talking, I view this as the death of perception. Okay, right now you've got people that are look, I don't know how you can watch the videos and not be transformed of police beating people. And typically it's people of color, but it isn't only people of color. I saw one where and I'm not sure what state this was in. I knew this at one point, but you see some police, and they're over kind of, I don't know if it's by a building or whatever, but there's a bike rack over a little ways away. These two elderly gentlemen, one's got a cane. They're, and that's the one they ultimately focused on. They pushed him. They pushed this man. He wasn't doing anything. They pushed him, and he fell into the bike rack. And they came over and they helped him up. But my God, what kind of conversation did they have? They hurt this man. So whether it's what we saw happen to George Floyd or what we saw happen to the 75-year-old man in Buffalo, and now you have the guy in the Oval Office saying, oh, well, he's a saboteur. I think he's a saboteur. He had a machine. He was scanning the police. He was a 75-year-old activist. With a Catholic group. This is who he's with. They're out there protesting what's happening to our Black brothers and sisters. And now he's in the hospital because he's bleeding out of his ears as he hit his head. We all heard it. There was a video from across the street that came out. And you could hear it. You could hear his head hit. And we all know what that sounds like, don't we? So bleeding out the ears, I'm sure that's the least of it. And we're supposed to cheer the cops for this? No. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. For the first time in my life, I fear the police. For the first time in my life, across the board, I can't even say, oh, well, I don't fear the good ones, because I don't know who they are anymore. I don't. And that's just terrifying. So we need a transformation. And with death, it's signaling that that's what's happening. And it's profound, and we're in a 22-year profound soul level change. So why not? Where are we going with it? Well, peace, security, and shared purpose. You got a 9 and a 6 energy here. So that's a 6 overall plus 4. So we've got a 1 energy, don't we? We have for the whole reading, don't we? So 4, 6 and 4 is 10. 1 and 9 is 10. Reduces to 1. So yeah, it's all new beginnings. So today really is a Degas moment where one phase ends and another begins. Because when you have a president that's going to suggest that a 75-year-old man, an activist from a Catholic organization that goes out and tries to help people, is a saboteur, oh, we've reached a Rubicon here. We've crossed it. The event horizon has been reached. So I feel like today is a pivotal moment. This is a Tuesday. This is a Mars energy day. We're going to have to be a little bit careful. Today, one of the things I did want to mention from the Esoteric Influences reading for today, that let's see, where was the moon stuff? Oh yeah, we have the moon sesquisquares the sun and the moon semi-square Mars. We need to pay attention to how we're perceived by others. So this Mars energy day, can kind of, between that and emotions and all of that, can kind of ratchet things up. So we want to be really, really careful not to do that. Right now, the transformation that needs to take place has to do with higher self coming in and understanding the meaning of shared purpose and balanced energy exchange with others. Here we see one young girl giving a chalice of flowers with the white lily in the center of each one to a woman passing by. Now she has white hair, and so it could be that we're seeing a generational thing happen as well, where a younger generation blesses an older generation and appreciates the information that they have to share with all of them, the message from the past that needs to inform the present. And here we're talking about shared purpose and reciprocity. You see the X over there behind there on the pedestal with the chalice on top. That's reminiscent of Gebo, the 7th rune of the Elder Futhark, and balanced energy exchange. It'd be interesting if we pulled that one today, wouldn't it? It would certainly reinforce what's going on. Or if we Juhagalize the 9th rune of the Elder Futhark, destruction and preparation for change. We're talking about, though, here moving forward in shared purpose, so the transformation involves that. When we do that, we can have a more settled life. You see how I love this card. I love the robe, don't you? She's the queen. You can see her house in the background over there. But she's there with her falcon. It's likely a Sunday and she's out on a hunt. But all of her greenery, all of her abundance is around her. She's settled. Everybody is where they need to be. Her kingdom is protected. Her kingdom is safe. And she can now just have a day and just enjoy it, because everything is in its place. Everything is where it should be. And that's the result of the transformation from death into shared purpose. Well, okay, so I left my runes again in the other room, so I'm going to use my poplar ones again. I don't see them. I didn't bring them in here. I meant to. Nope. Usually I use my hawthorn runes. But yesterday I used my my poplar ones, and I told you guys that these were the trees that I was planting the day my mother died. So they have she died in 1996. She was ill, and so basically what, well, just I'll finish and then I'll tell you. But anyway, I was planting them the day I discovered that she had passed. And so they have a lifespan of about 20 years. And so when we cut them down, like, I don't know, just like 3 or 4 years ago, we cut them down. I just wanted, I says, let me get that branch right there, because I want to do some runes, and which I always do that, you know. And so I made a set of OM runes, and I didn't make them in the disc shape. I did them just like this. And so what we have here is Degas. Remember I said that it was a Degas moment, where on one side you have the 9 and one side you have the 1, where you have endings and beginnings. Yeah. I said, would it be cool if we got Degas? Well, it is, and we did. So there you go. So let's talk about it. And you'll understand if you don't know anything about runes and you've never been here before. I do this. I'll draw the rune out. I'll show you what other runes are combined within it. So many of them really are bind runes in and of themselves. But this is Degas. And yes, I can do stick figures, and they don't even look right. So I don't know. At least runes are mostly straight lines, and so I'm just gonna, I don't know. Even with that, I'm challenged. So we have Gebo in the middle, balanced energy exchange. We're going to terminate that, though, with Isa on the ends. The 11th rune of the Elder Futhark, one of the Norn runes. That one is about bringing will into control, essentially. It's also about alignment and source presence, but it's also about ego contraction and will coming into control, taking control of that. The other thing that we have here, though, which is, very cool, you've got Laguz, essentially in all directions. And I didn't draw the bottom one very well. You have that. I mean, it's an abbreviated version of it, but you do have it. The other thing you have, and the best part of all, is you have Kenaz in all directions. So it's the light of spirit being expressed outward in all directions. Above and below, within and without. And what Degas talks about is essentially, and this is not my interpretation of this, I didn't write this one or come up with this one, but I loved it, and so I wrote it down in my rune book. Its energy at its saturation point becomes its opposite. And that's really, when one phase ends and another begins, that's basically the energetic movement beyond that. And the other, and here's the thing, if you understand the energy about all of this, I don't know, for me, I'm an empath, so I think energy, and flow, and how things feel, and the resonance, and, it's just, I can't help it, I just do that. But this is about flow. It's about flow of the change and the transformation that we're about to encounter here. I don't know. Lots of synchronicities today. So I'm thinking that we might be onto something. Oh, okay. Yeah, we are. Let's get them in the right order. Okay. There are only actually 8 geomancy runes, but when you turn them over or you create their complement, there's 16. So again, we have it's the same idea as the self and the other side of self. We can't look at other people as another thing, okay, another entity. They're not. They're the other side of self. We're all in this collective resonance together. We're just little cells in the body of source, okay? How can we, anyway. So I just don't understand any of this. But here is Caput Draconis. The Draconi align with the north and south nodes of the moon, and the north node is about our present and future. The south node is about the past and karma. And so, but with Caput, we're talking about moving into the future in terms of transformation, aren't we? And creating a better future together. It almost looks like we're raising our hands in supplication to Spirit. The resistance is, or the alignment is in the air. Let's see, because it goes fire, air, water, and earth, and that's what each dot or series of dots represents in order. So the top line is going to have a non-resistive influence in terms of fire or will, and it's almost like we just fall into place with one another as we march on to a new future together. So this has been interesting. To get all of this and to have it be a 9-day, we get to gauze. And we're talking about the future with Caput Draconis. So I don't know. I'm really, I find that all of this just seems to dovetail so well together that I think that we need to, and it's not really surprising because, it is a 22 years. So but I do think that we all need to understand that this is our moment and that we can't mess this up. We have to go forward in shared purpose and make the kinds of changes that need to be made now. How many more people die? How many more people are injured? How many more people are disrespected? See, we can't do this anymore. This can't be anymore. So, do what you can. Speak out if you can. Even if it's just online. Maybe you're not able to get out in March. Maybe you're not physically able to do that, but you can make your presence known. You can make your voice heard. Do it. We all need to do that now. We all need to demand a better world together. All you have to do is listen to the children. They'll tell you. Can't we do it for them? I mean, I would think we could do it for them. If we can't do it for ourselves, let's do it for them. Let's not have any other child have to face the truth that a police officer killed their parent. How do you wrap your head around that? And how do you grow up with that knowledge? How do you do it? It's terrifying. You'll never be the same again. So maybe you put it into activism, but why should you? Why should it have ever happened to begin with? That's the part that is so confounding. So let's stay together on this, and let's move the mountains we need to move, because we can. Anyhow, I guess that's it. I hope this transition away from doing the astrology is working out for everybody. You just got to watch the other one to get that if you're interested in that. And again, you can go follow along if you pull up the blog page that has it at imsteppingaside.com. Just scroll down, you'll see it for this week, and click on it and open it up, and you can follow along if you want to. Otherwise, you can just wait to hear what it's going to be. But I don't know. I just like to read stuff, so I would be the one who would be prepared. I would have my if it weren't me that was doing it, I would be, and I was just watching it, I would have my iPad open or my computer open to the page. I'd be reading along. I would be listening, and knowing me, I'd even be taking notes. So So, a little insight to me. But anyway, I guess that's it for today. Thanks so much for coming by, and come back tomorrow. Click subscribe. I'd love you to do that. Again, if this is your first time here, welcome. If you've come back, thank you. You know this is always a work in progress. So, who knows? A month from now, we might be doing something else. But anyway, thanks again for coming by, and have a good day. Be good to yourself, be good to one another, and blessed be.